Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today's phrase is to grapple, and that means to struggle with something or to struggle to understand something. Now, to make it a little bit clearer, I'm going to give you some examples. For example, the climber grappled with the rocky cliff face. The politicians grappled to remain in power in the world of politics. The country is still grappling with the earthquake. He grappled with the burglar for the control of his wallet. The wrestlers grappled fiercely during the wrestling match. So the one about he grappled with the burglar. A burglar is someone who comes into your house to steal things. So you can hear in these examples that you can say in sports, oh, he grappled with his opponent. The wrestler grappled with the other guy. The footballer grappled to keep control of the ball or to take control of the ball. And you can always, in addition, use it as a metaphor. The politician grappled to take control of the parliament, and also the students grappled with the complex ideas in science class. I use the word grappled when it's something a bit deeper that I'm really struggling to understand. As a teacher, I have to sometimes grapple to catch what's really happening in the mind of a student. I know that some students have really clear ideas in what they want. Some students don't, and other students really are unable to say what the problem is with their learning. They often grapple to make it clear why their English isn't getting better. You know, when you teach English, it's not just about giving information. I mean, I could give you grammar if that's what you want, but most of the people I talk to come with a particular idea that something is wrong. And in some of my students' minds, something is very wrong because it's like they've gotten to a place where they can't go any further and they really grapple with this idea. Very few students come to me and just say, okay, yeah, I just like some grammar. Some do, but most come to me with some kind of deeper idea of either how they sound isn't right or some kind of an issue with learning. And they often grapple to express what that is. And I sometimes grapple to understand what they're trying to say. And it's usually not related to English. When people grapple to learn, it's nothing to do with English. I mean, after all, we live in a world where grammar and words are everywhere. All you have to do is to log in and find the word you want. You can even talk to the computer using applications now if you don't have a conversation with anyone. So there really isn't any reason for anyone to be struggling or grappling with learning, but many people grapple with their identities in becoming that new person that they will be as an English speaker. You might think, oh, that's really strange, but actually it's not. Um, I think many of us, when we enter into a new identity, those of us brave enough to face that, we sometimes grapple with who we are, where we're going, especially if we're living in another country. I know that in the countries I've lived in so far, to use an English phrase, I've been like a fish out of water. It means that it's not been easy for me to assimilate into a new culture. And of course, many of us, we just don't tell other people that we're learning a second language. So we kind of try to avoid upsetting our friends and the people we're usually around in case they think that we are becoming better than they are. And if we don't do that, then we often just play down the idea of learning English. Oh, yeah, I'm learning English, but I'm really bad at it. Yeah, English is really hard. It's a way of saying, don't worry, I'm still like you. And when they come to an English class, I hear this negative language, this repetitive language of, oh, my English is terrible, my English is bad. And I know that many people use it in their own tribes and cultures to make sure that they still fit in. I know when I first started my journey to become a teacher, I didn't come from a family of teachers. My parents were not academic people, and they really struggled with me because they couldn't understand. They really grappled with this idea about having a son who's a teacher because uh, my grandparents and great grandparents all came from a very poor kind of environment. And you see how easy it is to grapple with these kinds of things. Anyway, getting back to my point and my phrase of the day to grapple, something I've really been grappling with today is this morning's news. It seems that there's a photo that's been issued by the royals, but this photo that they've issued has a few little errors in it. I'm not sure if it's correct to call them errors exactly, but the photo has been touched up. That's a phrasal verb we use when we change photos. We touch them up. To touch up a photo is very common. And if you don't want to use the phrasal verb, you can use the word or the verb to Photoshop. So to put it quite bluntly, the photo the royals issued has been photoshopped, and it's showing the princess with her family, and the youngest child, I think, is Princess Charlotte, but it's clear that her picture has been manipulated. I think that's the word they're using. And her hand is not sitting in the correct position. I mean, it's a very, very minor thing. If you look at the picture, you'd hardly be able to notice it, but it's caused great panic. It's caused great panic because it shows that this picture is not genuine. It's been touched up. Now, usually when you touch up a photo, you change the colors or you change the lighting, but the royals usually have professional photographers. They don't usually need to worry about photoshopping things. They simply have the photo taken. It gets passed to the social media team in Buckingham Palace or Kensington Palace, whatever the press office is now, and then it gets released. So this photo of Kate and the Children was released, the media picked up that there were issues with it, that it had been manipulated, and they're saying that it was manipulated at source, at the palace. So why has it caused such a big scandal then? Well, it's because, of course, that the photo isn't genuine. It wasn't just a photo taken and passed to the media. And the fear is that, well, if they've touched up one small thing in a photo, maybe they've replaced the head of other people in the photo. That, along with other rumors about the health of Princess Kate, means that this photo has created a bit of a storm, because now people are saying, well, is she okay? I mean, they have just given us a fake photo. Is this really Kate? I mean, if the photo doesn't have the correct image of the wrist or the arm of Princess Charlotte, what else have they done to it? Of course, it's probably something procedural. It's probably just an innocent mistake. But as usual, our press are very, very observant and they want answers. So the royals issued this photo to the press agencies. They issued it to everyone, all of their clients, media, um, and press circles. Then they gave an order that it should be retracted because it's not right, it's fake. So this photo has now been taken away after appearing on all of the media sites. It's been removed. And at the time of recording this, everyone's waiting for the palace to give some kind of statement. But it's probably just something innocent. I mean, there are other pictures going around of Kate with her mother, but of course, conspiracy theorists, the people who come up with conspiracy theories, are also saying, oh, you know, the tree in the background of the photo is too green for this time of year, which is probably true. I mean, we're not quite into spring yet, but who knows? But it does raise other questions about royal photography. I mean, it could just be in this digital age that the royals, the same as the rest of us, are trying to use modern techniques. But whatever the reason, this photo has been touched up. By the way, the verb to touch up has a positive and a negative meaning, okay? So I recommend that you use it with photos. To touch up a photo is perfectly fine, but I don't recommend that you use it in any other way, because it has another very negative colloquial meaning, which I'm not going to explain because it's not really appropriate for a podcast like this. So to touch up is what we use when we talk about photos. Now, just to finish on this issue of Kate and the photo, whenever there's a scandal in the UK, we often add the word gate to the end of it. And the reason why we do that is because there was a big scandal in the 1970s in America called Westergate. And ever since then, we've been adding the word gate to anything which is controversial or scandalous. Let me just give you some examples. So, for example, Diana Gate. That was a very big scandal in the 1980s and 90s right up until her death, the princess who was divorced. We now have Kate Gate, which of course the media love because both of those words sound the same. They rhyme, Kate Gate. So Buckingham Palace have found themselves in the middle of a scandal, the Kate Gate scandal. Adding the word gate isn't just an English thing. It seems that in other languages as well, they often add words to bring up this idea of scandal. I understand that in Italy and in Italian, there's a suffix poly, which is used to designate a city or town where there was a scandal. I don't know too much about it, but it's fairly common. Poly taking on a new meaning to refer to a scandal. Well, here in the UK, we've had Horsegate in the past, which has been all about eating horse meat and not knowing about it. In America, where it's very common to use this phrase, there's also been, of course, different scandals after Westergate. Within one of the American administrations, there was Monica Gate, which was all about Bill Clinton and his relationship with someone called Monica while he was married to Hillary Clinton. And there's others as well. But we don't always use these in a serious way. Some of them, we just add the word gate just to add some laughter. There was a major gate scandal in a TV series which was all about baking, where someone was making a cake and something went wrong and they used a replacement from the fridge instead of carrying on with the original. And of course, the judges disqualified it. So in a TV show, it's not really a big scandal. It's just TV. Bloodgate was another one, which was a rugby scandal here in the UK when one of the players pretended to be injured and they used fake blood to qualify for something or other. I don't really know. And those of you who like TV, if you've heard of Wallace and Gromit, there was a Woolligate scandal as well, which, of course, in a TV cartoon is nothing. So as you can hear, we sometimes add the word gates just for fun, but it also can be used for very serious issues like the Kate Gate scandal. I feel sorry for the royals because this is probably all very innocent, but it looks like no matter what they do, that the press is going to be watching them in every moment, at least until Kate recovers or comes out and says something, which I understand is what they want. Anyway, that's it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let's talk again soon. Bye.